everyone, welcome back to another Martin's Home and Garden Houseplant of the Week. This week we are talking about the Shady Lady goldfish plant, also called the Nematanthus gregorius. These plants are native to Central America and the Caribbean, and they get their name from their red-orange flowers that are shaped like little leaping goldfish. They bloom pretty regularly when they are cared for properly, and they do have a trailing growth pattern. So these guys will end up being really nice vining plants that are great for hanging baskets, and they're also really great for adding just a pop of color to your houseplant collection. So if you are interested in adding some color to your houseplants and your indoor decor, keep watching because we're going to show you how to care for these today. The first thing we'll talk about is the light for these plants. Goldfish plants prefer a bright indirect light, and you should avoid direct sun at all costs because it will burn the leaves pretty quickly. You should also avoid low light for these guys because they will start to get very leggy. They won't bloom as often. So if you notice big spaces growing in between the leaves of your plants, you're going to want to move the goldfish plant closer to the window if you can, at least 1 to 2 feet away from a window. Every inch you get away from a window is less and less light for a plant. So you're going to want to give these as much as you can without it being direct sun. Next, we'll talk about watering for these plants. Goldfish plants love to have a consistently moist soil that's not soggy. So a good rule of thumb would be to allow the top 1 to 2 inches to dry out before you water it each time. And then when you water it, you want to make sure you're soaking it until it goes through the bottom of the pot. And then to fertilize these in the growing season, so spring, summer months, whenever your plant is actively growing and blooming, these guys don't want a super high nutrient fertilizer. So a great option is a granular fertilizer that is slow release. So the Osmocote Outdoor and Indoor is a great option for these. It comes with a little scoop. And the instructions on the back tell you how much to use depending on the size of your pot. So these guys, this is great. You're going to want to initially put this in your plant's soil, or whenever you go to repot it, put it down next to the roots at the beginning of spring. So around late March, early April, you're going to want to add this to your plant's soil. And then you won't have to do any kind of fertilizing again for the next 6 months. So the next thing we'll talk about is humidity for these guys. They are from Central America and the Caribbean, so they're used to more tropical environments and conditions. That means that they love humidity. We do have a whole video on how to increase humidity in your home and why it's important. That'll be linked right above me here, so go check that video out. Lots of good info in there. The best way for these to be humidified, the best would be to use a humidifier close by. These are cousins of African violets, which, if you know anything about African violets, if you get any kind of water on the leaves, it damages the leaves and causes some kind of not attractive spots that you don't really want. These do have sort of fuzzy leaves similar to an African violet. So if you do mist these with a mister like we have here, you're going to want to make sure you use room temperature water. Too cold or too hot water is going to cause that same kind of water damage on the leaves as it would for an African violet. The last thing we're going to talk about is the soil for these guys. They want a really well-draining houseplant mix, so you can use any kind of indoor potting mix. And they are, fun fact, an epiphyte in the wild, which means they grow on the sides of trees and other plants, taking in kind of the moisture from the air around it. And kind of the rain that slides off the trees and everything. That's how they take in their water and nutrients. So using even some orchid bark to kind of mimic that tree environment is going to help increase the drainage of the soil, as well as mimicking, like I said, that kind of natural environment that they're used to. But that is all that we have for you guys today. We hope you like this video, and we will see you guys next week. Bye!